Hey, hey! I bet you're so excited to be here today watching a math video. I bet you would rather be doing nothing else than this. Okay, let's get going because I know you're excited. All right, solve the system of equations by substitution. That's what we're doing today. Really fast before we get started. There are a couple ways to solve systems of equations. There is substitution, which we're doing right now. There's also graphing and elimination. If you need one of those two, I've got a couple videos linked over there. I also have a video linked where I do all three in one video and go pretty quickly, okay? I'm going to be pretty detailed here. All right, you excited? Be where you need to be. Okay, really fast. I just want to give you like a quick background. Don't switch videos. It'll be fast, okay? I just want you to have like a big picture of what we're doing so it makes sense, okay? So, say your teacher gives you this, right? X plus y equals 7 and is like, tell me what x and y equal. Well, x and y could equal a lot of things. We could have 7 plus 0, right? We could have 6 plus 1. We could have 5 plus 2, right? I could keep going. We could have negative 1 plus 8, okay? I could literally go on forever, right? Giving numbers, two numbers that equal 7, okay? If I was given this one, x minus y equals 3. Well, I could have 3 minus 0, right? I could have 5 minus 2. Okay, I think you get the picture. I could keep going forever, right? So, when they give you a system of equations, they want to know what numbers work for both of these, okay? Because there's literally infinity for this one and this one. They want to know the one set that works for both of them, okay? So since these ones are pretty simple, I can see pretty quickly that it's 5 and 2, right? X equals 5, y equals 2, because 5 plus 2 is 7, 5 minus 2 is 3, okay? That is what we're looking for, okay? That's what it means to solve a system of equations, all right? You're like, yay, I'm so excited. Yes, I know. All right. Here's the problems we're going to do for substitution, okay? When we solve a system of equations, maybe you already know this, but there's three possible types of answers we can get. We can get one solution, which we write as an ordered pair typically. You can get no solution. There could be no set of numbers that can solve both of these, okay? Or you could have infinite solutions, okay? We're going to talk about each of these, so don't be scared if you're like, what the heck is she talking about, okay? All right. Just spoiler alert, both of these are going to be one solution, but then I'm going to quickly show you what no solution and infinite solutions looks like, because you'll probably run into those, but I didn't want to take a time to do a full example. Okay, so stick around to make sure you know what those look like, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, in the past, you may have graphed these to find the answer. That's a great way to do it, but not always the fastest. So somebody came up with this way that they figured out works, and we call it substitution, okay? To do substitution, the first thing you do is pick one variable to get by itself, okay? You could do this x, this y, this x, this y. Any of those four, get it by itself. Now, it's going to be easiest to get one of the y's by itself because it doesn't have something in front of it, okay? So I'm just going to pick this top one to get y by itself. To get y alone, I'm going to add 2x to both sides, which leaves me with y equals 2x plus 2, okay? So since we're trying to figure out how these are related, guess what? I can take this y equals and plug it in for this y, okay? So I'm going to take this 2x plus 2 and plug it in for that y and see what happens, okay? So I'm going to have negative 5x plus y, which is 2x plus 2. Okay, I plugged it in for that y. So this equals negative 1. Okay, now I have all x's, so I can solve for x. Okay, so I combine like terms. So my x's. So I've got negative 5x and 2x. If I owe somebody $5 and I pay them back $2, I still owe them $3, right? Negative 3x plus 2 equals negative 1. Okay, getting closer. I want x all alone. So I need to get rid of this plus 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I end up with negative 3x equals, I owe someone $1. I borrowed 2 more dollars, so I owe them $3. Negative 3. Okay, I just need to get rid of this negative 3 now. So these are being multiplied. To undo multiplication, I do division. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. I got to do it on both sides to keep everything balanced, right? All right, so then I'm left with x equals, we've got negative 3 divided by negative 3 gives me a positive 1. Okay, so that is my x. Okay, now all I need to do is take this x and plug it in for one of these x's. I can pick whichever one I want. Personally, this one is looking the easiest. So I'm going to plug it into this one. So I'm going to get a different color. All right, so we've got y equals 2 times x, which is 1, plus 2. Okay, so I do 2 times 1 is 2 plus 2. So y equals 4. Look at that. Now, your teacher might want it written as an ordered pair. If that's the case, you just always write the x first. So it would be 1, 4. This means if I graphed both these lines, they would cross at 1, 4. It also means if I plug in 1 here, 4 here, 1 here, 4 here, they'll both come out true. Okay? Feeling good about this? Thinking it's the most awesome math you've ever done in your life? I knew it. All right, we're going to do this one. Yes, and then I'll show you those other 2 examples. Okay, again, what I want is to get one of these variables alone. You can pick whichever one you want. I personally am going to subtract this 3x from both sides for this one, okay? So I'm going to subtract 3x here, subtract 3x here. Why am I doing that? Because that gets my y alone. Okay, so I get y equals negative 3x plus 13. Okay, so now I'm going to take this y and plug it in to this one. Okay, the one I didn't get this from. So I'm going to plug it in right there. Okay, so I'm taking x minus y. This is y. So one thing to remember is you're subtracting this whole thing. So I'm going to put parentheses here to help me remember that. That kind of made it sound like I made that up. No, that's a real math thing. That wasn't just me. That'd be cool if I made that up, but no, it's a math thing. So that I know I'm subtracting this entire thing, I use the parentheses, okay? And that equals negative 1, okay? See how I just plugged that in for that y. Now, I need to distribute this negative in because we're subtracting both of them, okay? So we're subtracting this one, we're subtracting this one. So when I do that, I get x. When I subtract a negative, that's a positive. Why, you say? If you've watched my videos, you've heard this analogy. It's brilliant, okay? So if you get grounded, that's negative, right? Then if your parents say, oh, we're going to take away that you're grounded, we're going to take away that negative, hallelujah, that's positive because I can go get soda and go to a movie maybe, all right? So subtracting a negative is a positive, 3x. We're also subtracting that 13. When you subtract a positive, it's just subtract, okay? Equals negative 1. Feeling okay? All right, we've got x plus 3x. This is like 1x, so that gives me 4x's. Minus 13 equals negative 1. Okay, I'm trying to get this x all alone, so I'm going to add 13 to both sides. Remember, I can add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever I want as long as I do it to both sides, but I'm going to pick things that make my equation do what I want it to, okay? So adding 13 to both sides gets this 4x all alone here equals negative 1 plus 13 gives me 12. Okay, almost done. These are being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 4. If I do it over here, I've got to do it over here. Why? Because 4 divided by 4 gives me 1, so I'm left with 1x, or just x, equals 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. All right, there's my x. Okay, I've got the x. Now I need to know the y. So I'm going to take this x and plug it in I can plug it in here, here, or here. I'm personally just going to pick this top one. So we're going to plug it into x minus y equals -1. Okay, so x equals 3. So I'm going to do 3 minus, we don't know what y is yet. That's what we're trying to figure out, equals -1. Okay. All right, I want y all alone, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I get -y equals -4. Okay, you might think you're done, but not quite. We don't want our y to be negative. So to get rid of that, it's just like you're multiplying both sides by a -1. And all that does is changes the signs of each of them. So we get y equals 4. Okay. If you want it as an ordered pair, make sure you write the x first. 3, 4. Okay, so 3 minus 4 is -1. Yes. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 4 is 13. Look at that. It worked for both of them. Oh my gosh. That's what we wanted. Okay. Remember, you could have 3 types of answers. I just showed you 2 that are one solution. But what do no solution and infinite solutions look like? Well, you came to the right place. I'm going to show you. Okay. This is, say you were doing this. Hold on. I'm going to take this away so it's not so busy. All right. There we go. So you had this and you plugged this in for the y, let's say, okay? And you are combining like terms, solving, but look, you got 2x minus 2x. So your x's disappeared and you're left with 7 equals 5. Well, does 7 equal 5? Not in our world, not true. So if you end up with something where your variables disappear, it could be your x's or y's just depending on what you plugged in. If they disappear and you get something that's not true, no solutions. There is no 2 numbers that will work for both those equations that they gave you. Okay. Other one is infinite solutions. Very similar. Okay. You're plugging this in, and again, your x's disappear. And you are left with 9 equals 9. Well, does 9 equal 9? Yes, it does in our world. So that is true. That means there are infinite solutions. So what that means is any 2 numbers you plug in for one of the equations, those, if they work for that equation, it will work for the other one. Okay, any 2 numbers that work for one will work for the other. Okay, hopefully that made sense and you are feeling real good about this. Okay. I'm going to go have some ice cream. Once you get your homework done, you should go have some ice cream and then go to bed and have dreams of math that aren't nightmares.